Hi, and welcome to Aquafan's Garden Guides. Today I'm going to be starting my seeds for 2024 and doing a little bit of update work in the garden. Now, as we record, it is the 7th of January 2024. And some of the work you see is actually going to be done on the 5th and the 6th as well. But you might be wondering, why are you starting seeds so early? Well, we're here in Florida, and we get to start seeds a little bit earlier. One thing I noticed is it's sometimes hard to get good gardening advice because so many garden blogs and websites are run by Northerners, and you have to search a little bit deeper for growing in Florida. But last year I started a lot of stuff in March and had some good success, some bad success, depending on the plant. But one thing I noticed was we got the pickle worm on the cucumber, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you probably remember that. We had some awesome cucumbers, and then we started to get some pickle worm, and that ruined our cucumbers, unfortunately. Well, over Christmas break, I was talking to my girlfriend's Nana, and she gave me some great advice. Both her Nana and her Papa grow some vegetables. They grow some tomatoes, some different types of greens, the leafy greens, some cucumbers, and some other things as well, including some peppers and a bunch of other stuff. But when I talked to her about the pickle worm, she recommended a certain pesticide, but she also said that it depends on when we're growing them. And I said I might have started a little bit late. She asked when I started. I said March. She said, yeah, that's really late. You need to start them when you start your tomatoes. Thing is, I started my tomatoes in March last year as well. So after some further research on specific when to start for this zip code, really, I looked up by zip code, not even just frost hardiness zone, but I found that January 7th through 14th is what was recommended. And so that's what we're doing, starting them on the 7th. So you'll get to see this video here. It's gonna walk through the moving of some plants I already had and then moving on to seed starting. So here we go. All right, so you can see getting started right away, what I've done here is something I should have done a long time ago. Today's actually the same day that I found those 2 tomatoes on the ground that fell this morning during the rainstorm, or it wasn't really a storm, it was just some rain, and might have been a storm, I don't know. I was sleeping when it was happening, but it didn't wake me up at all or anything. But either way, the ground was wet and they were on the ground. They weren't there yesterday, so brought them inside. You might have seen that short that I made. But either way, what I'm here to talk about is this garden update for going into 2024. So this is something I should have done a long time ago. The jigsaw pepper and the Carolina Reaper, repotting them into these grow bags here. I will be moving them outside. They're staying under the grow light because I don't want them to get sun scorched. So over the next few days, they'll be spending a couple days in the sun each day until they're ready to move out their foliage, which hopefully should be soon. But, oh, and there goes the timer. But you can still you actually see better than I can with the low light camera, which is nice. But that's something I should have done a while ago. I didn't realize how little soil they had. I was waiting for them to get a little bit bigger before I repotted them. But unfortunately, they were not going to get bigger. They were very root bound when I found them, but I was able to kind of save that and put them into these grow bags here with much more soil. The issue is I had them in those little pots, and I thought they had a lot of soil and a little bit of mulch. They actually had a little bit of soil and a lot of mulch, so that was the issue. I also bought this potting mix from Lowe's, Miracle Grow seed starting potting mix, to try when I'm going to start seeds soon, which will be the next part of this video that I'm not going to do today, but will be part of this same video. I'll just do it in the future and record it. I'm going to try that instead of my homemade soil that I make to see if it is any better or about the same, or if there's a difference, just to see, because this is supposed to be for seed starting, where my soil is made for happy plant growth throughout its life. But that is what is in these grow bags here for the Carolina Reaper and the jigsaw pepper. And then quickly transitioning over here, you can see some of my leftover stuff, but also the leftover soil that I made today. I have in there, so I can continue to use that if needed. And these are those little pots I was talking about. You can see it was about up to here, full. So I thought that was enough soil, but the soil was like only up to here, and that was mulch and about the same for those. So that was unfortunate, and that was the issue there. But you'll see in the rest of this video as I start seeds and hopefully continue to have updates on those Carolina Reaper and jigsaw peppers. One other thing I wanted to point out was, as you may have seen in the short video, the salvia plant I had back here as a pollinator plant was long gone. It was dead. So I have here some marigolds and a snapdragon They don't look super happy right now, but they were just planted and it is rather dim out right now. So I imagine over the next couple days, they're gonna perk up a little bit and hopefully bring in some bees. And I'll also show you the one I have out front. So here's the guy out front that I have by the pepper plants. And you can see it's the same exact thing, a snapdragon surrounded by some marigolds. So again, hoping they start to look pretty good in a couple days. And yeah, that's what I have so far. So I'll see you in a couple seconds for you, but probably in a day or two for me when we start the seeds for 2024. Spending a little time out in the sun before I head to church. When I get back from church, I will bring them back inside. That will probably be in probably close to 3 hours from now. So hopefully 3 hours of sunlight today, tomorrow, and Tuesday will be good. All right, so I left for church around 9:30 a.m. Just got back, it's 12:37 right now. So they have spent about 3 hours outside in the sunlight. And the jigsaw pepper looks okay, but you can tell that Carolina Reaper's not too happy. He's kind of sagging a bit, but that is okay. That is why they're only out here for a few hours. I'm gonna go put them back inside under the grow light, which is less harsh. And from there, I'll do something very similar tomorrow and Tuesday, where hopefully they're ready to be outside for good on Wednesday. We will see though. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and start some seeds. So it is the 7th right now of January. And so I'm going to try this new seed starting mix, kind of like I talked about a little bit earlier in the video, see how it does compared to the own soil that I made. This is supposed to be a little bit better for roots to be able to spread when they're that young. The soil I make is good for root spreading, but more for adult plants. This, as I look in it, it does have some perlite. This almost just looks like straight cocoa coir or peat moss and a little bit of perlite in it. There doesn't appear to be any like dirt or manure in it. Here, I'll kind of show the camera there what it looks like here. If you can kind of see that in there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in all of our cells here, and then we'll start putting some seeds in. And while I'm setting this up right now on screen, I will show you the grid I'm using this year. If you were here last year when I started seeds, you'll notice I'm kind of using the same setup for how I'm using the grid there. And you'll also notice there are some seeds that we're doing again this year and trying them out. For example, those cucumbers, you'll notice there's a few different types, or a couple different types there, but how do you pronounce this? Let's see if I can say this. Jibai Shimoshirazu, the Japanese cucumber, was the one we did last year and we really liked. My roommate, I actually don't like cucumbers. My roommate does, and he's the one that actually picked that out. He said they were really good cucumbers. I shared some with my parents. They liked them a lot too. The only issue is we had those pickle worms that came in and ended up pretty much destroying the whole plant. We were able to deal with it at first, but eventually it just pretty much destroyed the whole thing. But, which you probably heard me talk about earlier in this video, or I might talk about it a little bit later. Why I'm planting earlier this year, I'll probably talk about it in a different part of the video, but that's one of the reasons right there, is to be able to avoid that type of thing. So you'll see that we're planting those. We're also planting a different type of cucumber that I got from my girlfriend's Nana. It is the mini meat cucumber. We'll see how that one goes. I'm also planting several different types of tomato, but I'm not doing the Roma tomato again. The Roma tomato, as you saw earlier, is still alive and well right now. I don't know if you could say it's well, but it's still alive and producing, we'll say that. But I don't really want another one. It hasn't been great, but we're still getting stuff out of the one we have. So we're trying 3 other different types of tomatoes. Again, I don't eat tomatoes, but my roommate, he does. And also, there's different things you can use them for. Tomato soup, ketchup, tomato sauce, salsa. Those are all things I do like, despite not liking the tomato itself. Other things we're going for, I'm gonna try and grow some mustard as well. I do like mustard greens. I don't know how well it's gonna do. I've never tried to grow a leafy green before, only things that produce fruit, such as the peppers and the tomatoes and the cucumber. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be something new. I'm not doing any lettuce. I'm thinking of doing lettuce actually in the fall, in the autumn, for like a winter crop there. And maybe I should be doing that with the mustard greens as well, but I figure let's start with some mustard greens, see how they do. And then from there, we can try going for the lettuces. I have some, I think a red leaf and a romaine, actually a couple different types of romaine that we'll try later on in the year if the mustard goes well. Also some peppers. I like hot peppers, so we're gonna try the Sugar Rush Peach Pepper, which is kind of spicy and sweet blend type pepper. This one we grew last year and it actually did well, but I didn't transplant it quick enough and it died out. Again, we learned a lot last year in gardening with our first time doing some real gardening. And I'll be applying those things this time from what I learned. And so we're actually trying to grow that better this year. The Chinese 5 colors, same exact thing happened with that, where we kind of got it producing, or not producing, but it sprouting, and then we never transplanted it quick enough, so we're going to try and get some success with that one as well. And then the green pepper, which sweet peppers, I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't like bell peppers, but again, my roommate does, so we're trying to grow some stuff that the whole house will use. And so that is that, and that is all we are growing this year. And good timing, because it looks like I just finished filling this thing up with soil. This soil is very light and very fluffy, which is different from my soil that I make. My soil is lighter and fluffier than a traditional potting mix, but it's not this light and fluffy. So I'm going to try to brush off the top stuff here, so that way I can actually see the lines. In a second, I'll show the camera of what this thing looks like before we put seeds in it. But first, I just need to kind of flatten it out here. And that should be good enough. Let me come over to the camera and I'll show you how it's looking. Don't want to turn it too much, otherwise everything will fall out. All right, and I know I'm gonna have to adjust the audio throughout this clip as I move farther and closer to the camera, having to make some adjustments there. I hope I don't have to do any like ADR and actually go over the top and re-record everything, but who knows. All right, so I'm gonna line it up. A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up and down, and then left and right, because that matches the planting guide that you saw on screen. And so we're gonna start in the top left with the mustard. And so for each of these, I am going to put 3 seeds in each plug. I'm gonna kind of make like a little hole there. Oh, these seeds are very round, so they all rolled out. 1, 2, 3 there, kind of cover them up. Go to the next one. Okay, let's dump the rest back into this bag if we can without dumping them all over the place like I currently am doing. Okay, well, that's okay. Look how many are in here. That's a bunch. So we lost a few. That's okay. There was no way I was going to use all of those anyway. We used what? That's 6 plus 8. We used 14 of them. So, and there's definitely hundreds in this bag. So, all right, moving on to the next one is the mini-me cucumber, which is this one. So let's go ahead and open this. And both the mustard greens and this one, the mini-me, are ones I got from my girlfriend's Nana. So, well, it's a new company that we're trying. This is the one that she's used, and she's said that she's had some good success with it. It's Harris seeds. And these guys are a bit bigger, kind of like the cucumbers that we grew last year. These are white seeds though, instead of the black seeds that we had before. But we're gonna do 3 per cell again. So let's get these ready. There's 3. There's 3. We need 6 more. Here's 3. And there's 1, 2, 3. I'll show these, actually I'm gonna show these and the mustard seeds to the camera so you can kind of see what they look like. First we'll start with the mustard seeds. You can actually see it through the window in the bag. Get the camera to focus. There we go. You can see those. And here are the cucumber seeds, the mini-me. So let's go ahead and plant those. And I don't know much about these. These were just recommended to me. I assume that they're going to be a small variety, but the packaging has no picture, so I guess we'll see. But for each of them, I'm just making a little divot in the soil, placing the seeds, and then covering that divot up. So that is the mini-me cucumber. Then we have the same cucumber we planted last year, the Jibai Shimoshirazu, which again, I will show these to the camera in just a second. But these are the ones that were a little interesting. For some reason, I remember them having black seeds, but maybe I'm crazy. These are white seeds.
It must have been a different plant that had the black seeds. I just remember something that we planted last year had black seeds, and that was very interesting. But I will now show these to the camera. We're getting a little bit of wind, so hopefully we don't lose anything in that way. And as I say that, they blow everywhere. Here are the Jibai Shimazu. Let me go ahead and get some of these in, and then I'm going to have to go find all that stuff that just blew everywhere. So bear with me for a second as I do that. Okay, now we're all back and set, and the top right 4 is where we're putting this Jibai Shimazu. So we'll go ahead and place that in there. Now these cucumbers were interesting. They were a little skinnier than other cucumbers, but like I said, both my roommate and my parents really like this. And actually, my mom is going to be starting seeds for the first time this season as well, and because she liked them so much, and she's going to try growing her own of this variety. She ordered them from Baker's Creek, and she is starting her own. So that'll be very interesting. She lives very close to the ocean, right on the east coast of Florida. Like if you were to stand on my parents' roof, you would be able to see the ocean. And they're actually right up against a swamp as well, because they live on, I don't know what it's called, but the strip of land in between the intercoastal and the ocean. And they are right up against the intercoastal. Like if you were to go behind their backyard, you're entering the swamp that goes to intercoastal. So that is pretty cool, but it is a different environment. She said that she tried to grow herbs and tomatoes once, and it just, nothing lived because of the salt air. This is when they lived, they were renting a little closer, but now that they own their house and it's a little farther back, they're not getting the direct sea breeze. We're gonna see if things go better, and she's kind of excited to try these tomatoes, or excuse me, these cucumbers, the same ones that we're growing right here. All right, next that brings us to the tomato bush early girl. These are again for my girlfriend's Nana. So let's see what we can do with these and how things go there. If I can find them, here they are. So these ones, again, we're gonna do 3 in each cell. And again, I have no idea what to expect with these. I don't know what they're gonna be like. It doesn't have a picture, but we're gonna try it out and see what we can get from this. So in a moment, I will come over and show you the seeds once I get this envelope open, which she thankfully taped closed for me nice and securely. Oh wow, these are very interesting. Okay, I've never seen a seed like this before. They're pink. Focus on my hand. You see that? They're pink. So this is kind of cool. We'll see how these go. But this will go in C1, C2, G1, and D2. So let's go ahead and get those planted again, 3 per cell. Unlike with the mustard earlier, I actually got all of them in the envelope without spilling a bunch on the tape. All right, next that brings us to the tomato red cherry. Another one from my girlfriend's Nana. Not that one. This one. This one actually does have a picture on it. So, let's see. Gotta get it open. Let's take a look at these seeds. Okay, these ones are like your traditional looking seed. Kind of tannish brown. Almost lost the seeds in the wind there. All right, so this one is going in the direct center, the center 4 cells. So let's go ahead, I'm gonna do this a little differently. Instead of doing one at a time, I'm gonna make all the divots. Next 4, we have the tomato brandywine red, UT non-GMO, if you want the full title. Again, this is a Harris seed. Also worth noting, the tomato red cherry was from a different company, as was the mustard seed. The mustard seed was from Top Notch, and the tomato red cherry was from Patriots, 4patriots.com, 4 being the number 4. All right, let's take a look at these tomato brandywine red. Let's see what we got here. Okay, these look very similar to the seeds I just showed you. They got a slight green tint to them. This is the only difference, I would say. It's like a grayish green tint that they have. I'll come show the camera, but I know the wind's gonna pick up, so we'll place those there. And you can see very similar to the ones I just showed you. All right, these go in the center right. So this is C and D, rows C and D, columns 5 and 6. We're just gonna place these in here, 3 in a cell, and then cover them up. And that's it for all of our tomatoes. We're on to our last 3 seeds now, which is our bottom 2 rows. So we're in rows E and F now. And we're gonna start with the green pepper Harris, which she gave me in just a regular mailing envelope because she was gonna grow them this year as well. It was keeping her envelope. So I gotta get this thing open, which she taped again very securely, which is nice. She wrote all the information on here, which is nice. Harris Green Pepper Revolution F1 or F7. I don't know if that's a 1 or a 7. These seeds are very interesting because they are very green. And I don't just mean like, oh, like a dark forest green or something like that. These are like neon green. Take a look at these things. See how green that is? And I just dropped one. But we're gonna go ahead and plant these and see how they do. So this is in E and F 1 and 2. Very easy to see if I accidentally drop one of these seeds, because you could probably see it from 100 feet away with how green these things are. Maybe not that far, but 1, 2, 3. Okay. And we are on now to some repeats from last year, hoping to be a little more proactive and move them when I'm supposed to for these guys. But next we have our Sugar Rush Peach Pepper. And I'll go ahead and just read this description to you. Exciting new heirloom bred by hot pepper prodigy Chris Fowler in Wales. Long peach-colored fruits are packed with loads of a super sweet tropical flavor, and the seed brings a smoky, complex heat. So, hopefully we can be as lucky as we were last year with these, because last year these actually sprouted up a lot, and they were doing very well until I kind of neglected them and waited and didn't end up moving them. So these are in rows E and F, columns 3 and 4. And another reason I'm giving you all this information exactly where they are, maybe you have a favorite plant, a favorite vegetable or whatever that you want to see as it continues to grow, as I give updates through shorts. I will have this oriented exactly as the image is oriented while I give those updates, probably starting in a couple weeks. And you will be able to just quickly look and see where your favorite seed is, and if it's growing, if it's sprouting, and how it's doing. So on to our last seed, we have the Chinese 5-color pepper. Gorgeous, edible, ornamental, perfect for containers. Hot little peppers turn a rainbow of vibrant colors from purple through green, yellow, orange, and finally to red. So same thing, 3 in each. Let me make little divots. Now notice, these 3, let's see, yeah, 3, the Jibai Shimo's Shirazu cucumber, the Chinese 5-color pepper, the Sugar Rush Peach Pepper, and yeah, just those 3 are seeds that I bought for last year's season. So their germination rate is probably lower than it was last year. But I'm still hoping for some good success. Notice we're doing 12 of each seed. All the rest are newer that Nana ordered for this season, so things should go better there. I'm gonna cover these guys up. I'm gonna stop the camera, and then actually I'm gonna bring the camera over here, show you everything, and then I'm gonna stop the camera, water these guys, and then from there, I'll show you the setup. So here's how everything looks now, all within the soil. All right, I just watered the seeds from the bottom by filling the bottom tray with water. And I just wanted to show you this. I thought it was funny. As it goes down, some of the plugs are floating. See that? How they're kind of popping up. So obviously we don't want it like that right now. See that other one popped up? So I'm gonna let it sit in this water for a little bit. And then a lot of this soil is gonna soak up water. Then I'm gonna add some more water after that and make sure that the soil is nice and moist. And then I'll show you from there. All right, and here we are back under the grow light. And you'll notice that the Carolina Reaper already looks a bit happier. I was thinking, and I'm theorizing, the reason that the jigsaw pepper wasn't too affected by the sunlight is maybe because he has brighter and lighter leaves, where the darker leaves absorbed more sunlight and therefore were getting hotter. That's my theory, I don't know. But again, they'll spend a couple hours or a few hours outside each day until they're stuck outside. That's a bad way of saying it, until they're permanently outside, of course, except during frost and storms. And then here's all the seeds. Got it all cleaned up. I watered it from the bottom until it soaked almost all the way through. It wasn't getting all the way to the top, so I misted the top then with the misting setting on the hose to water it that way as well. I emptied out all the water from the bottom, refilled it, and set it here. And of course, with that fan, that'll help keep the top a little more dry. I know I just misted it so the seeds can get a bit of water, but it'll keep the top drier to prevent it from getting fungus growth, which can happen on the soil since it's exposed like that without mulch. And we want it exposed so the seedlings can come through once they sprout. But I will continue to water it from the bottom from now on. So there we have it. This is what we have for 2024 moving forward. Of course, now that I've gotten the hang of things, I plan to have some more things in some later seasons, maybe around the autumn season and such. And these guys, again, will be moving outside soon. But there are our seeds for 2024. And now it's about 4:30 p.m. and you can see that this Carolina Reaper pepper all perked up and happy now. So that's good. And then you can actually see by quadrant, or I don't know why I said quadrant, there's 36 of them. By cell, we'll call it that, by cell or section, they're starting to dry up on the surface, but there is still plenty of water down there for them to feed on.
All right, if you stuck with us this far, thank you so much for checking out the whole video. And don't forget to check out the Rumble, the YouTube, depending on where you're watching, check out the other one, as well as some social media, including the Gab, the Minds, the Parler, and the Truth Social. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I will be continuing to post updates through the YouTube Shorts, which also upload to Rumble, but they don't have a Shorts, so it'll just be short form video on Rumble or YouTube Shorts. Thanks for checking it out, and you have a great, great day.